Hey guys, got a lot of questions on the pirate gun yesterday. Had a lot of questions in the past about it as well. Figure I'd do a little video on it, do some close-ups and stuff, let people actually see what this thing is about. Yes, that's a hole in the gas tube. Gun runs just fine. A gas tube on an AK basically just guides the piston into the gas block. But as you can see, if she'll focus, rear sight leaf spring is toast. So we had some questions about the internals on it. Let's see here, zoom out a little bit for you. As far as what it looks like inside, stuff like that. So I figure we'll do a little tear down. There's our top cover. It's one of those Chinese dealy bobs. Got a nice little hole in it. When we got the gun, we replaced the recoil spring. The mechanism is all the original one. It's nice and rusty. The spring was shot, so we replaced the spring, but the rest of it is the original one that came in the gun. This is the original carrier. And we've been watching this thing. We did have to put the full auto weld on there, as this is a Wasr 10, so it was neutered. You guys can see. It is getting a little peened. I don't know if that was previous to us owning it or what, but that's about the only spot you can tell. It's got the typical Wasr gas piston. We did replace the bolt. We had a whole bunch of bolts in here, so we replaced the bolt with one that head spaces properly. We didn't even attempt to reuse the old one. When we got this thing, the internals were all rusted solid on it, so we had to pretty much cut the original fire control group out. Everything was rusted solid. In that process, we just decided to go ahead and change that bolt, so that's bolt is replaced. Had a bunch of questions about this rubber band. The mag release there, spring is toast. We could probably replace it, but rubber band adds to the character. When we got the gun, there was no pistol grip on it. We added that pistol grip. We added this buttstock. This buttstock is actually a DPM buttstock. We took and modified it to fit the AK, and then actually took a torch and burned it up a little bit just to give it some look, some patina, I guess, to match the gun. We added this paracord up here. The gas tube, it's all rusted solid. to try and get that off, we just decided it wasn't worth it. So we just wrapped it in paracord, and it works. We don't shoot it too often, but I mean, we do shoot this thing. So down inside, I'll do my best to get some shots in there. We have found no wear on the bolt lugs at all. So for having been in a fire, doesn't seem to have affected the trunnion. I mean, even the ejector is not peening, and we've put 1,000 rounds through this thing at least. But I mean, she is nice and rusty down inside there. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's got a new fire control group in it, as I explained a minute ago. Excuse me. We had to cut all that stuff out to get it out of there because it was just so rusted solid. Like I said yesterday in the video we posted, the original selector for this thing, actually let me grab it real quick. The selector arm itself, focus, had completely rusted off, so it was just flopping around inside the gun whenever we were shooting it, kept jamming up the fire control group. So we replaced it with this one. We're probably going to distress it to make it match the gun, but replaced that. Other than that, I mean, there's plenty of rust down inside this thing, and she still runs. It's a pretty cool little gun. We get a lot of attention for it, on it, however you want to say that. Had several people ask me about the bore on this thing. It's an original chrome line bore, so the barrel on it is actually internally, it's pretty solid. It's not blown out. It's still got nice lands and grooves, but it's hard chrome, so that's kind of to be expected. Let me see if there's anything else. We added the sling to it. A buddy of ours sent us this old nasty looking sling, so we added that to it just for looks. I don't know if we're going to keep this pistol grip on it. That's just one we had laying around. It kind of goes with the gun, but kind of not really. I don't want to distress that pistol grip, as they're worth more than a regular grip, so I wouldn't want to destroy that grip just to get patina for this gun. But we did the full auto conversion on it. When I originally got this thing, we paid $50 for it, and we were going to hang it on the shop wall. And when I got it, I got curious to see if we could make it run, so that's when we cut the internals out of it, yada yada yada. For the first 100 rounds, literally after every round, we were checking our lugs, checking the carrier, checking the bolt, checking the headspace, everything checked out, surprisingly. Haven't found any excessive headspace. The headspace isn't moving. Haven't found any of that stuff. But so it was a semi-auto, still running. We had it sitting in the showcase, and a guy kept coming into the shop and offering me a bunch of money for it, and just for what it is, we couldn't sell it. Just couldn't let it out of the shop. The liability on that thing, kept telling him no, kept telling him no. He was persistent. So finally we just made it a post sample, just so he would leave us alone, basically. That, we thought it would be pretty cool. So that's kind of the history or the story behind this thing. It wasn't a house fire in Texas. That is the Pirate. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. I've never tried to mount a scope on it. I would assume that it still could possibly, but we didn't really ever see a reason to. It sits in our showcase here at the shop. We get a lot of questions about it. So when I posted that video yesterday with us shooting it with the X-Tech mags, I got a whole bunch of questions on Facebook and Instagram about it. So I figure I would just do this video for you guys. The mag that came in this gun, let's see if I can find it. Not offhand. So the mag that came in this gun actually had rounds in it when it was in the fire, and the rounds exploded, and you could actually see the mag was blown out from those rounds exploding in the fire. But it was pulled out by a firefighter. The family gave it to him. We ended up with it, and here it is. But hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a good one.